everyone, I'm Jodi. Welcome to my channel. I'm really glad that you're here today. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. This channel is all about helping women and moms 40 plus look and feel our very best while realizing that doing our makeup like we were in our 20s and 30s may not be the best overall look for us going forward, but we still love makeup and we still love trying a trend now and then. And today's video is all about a new trend taking over social media called the latte look or the espresso look. This makeup look was first created by makeup artist Tennille J. In fact, if you have not seen her Instagram, you want to check that out. She's got some beautiful, beautiful looks. So what's the difference between the latte versus espresso look? Think about it in terms of day being your latte look and night being your espresso look. Now this isn't your bronzed look. Bronze is more warm gold colors, where this latte look is more about neutral to cool, still browns, creams, taupes, but it looks good on every skin tone, which is one of the reasons I really wanted to do this tutorial for you. While the trend that's going around on social media has taken on a life of its own since Tennille first put it out, and there's so many different variations and versions of this look. But as I was going through researching the different techniques, different products that are being used, a lot of them are being done on, well, let's not kid, a lot. 90% of them are on people who have just very beautiful, tight, gorgeous 20-ish, 30-ish year old skin, which if you are a regular subscriber of this channel, you might just have a few wrinkles, and we embrace them here. So I wanted to do a spin on that look that is maturely modified. And if that's the look that you're interested in, a look that says it was effortless and it's glamorous, but it took a few steps, but it's easy to do, then I'm gonna walk you through how to find the right products that are probably already in your makeup drawer, and then how to apply them in a way that just looks flawless. So if you are ready, and I know many of you watch me in the day, but also some of you watch these videos in the evening before you go to bed, tomorrow morning when you put your makeup on, set me on your phone right next to you and I will talk you through every step of the way. So if you're ready, let's get started. I already had my sunscreen on, my moisturizer to really ensure that my skin's hydrated for this look and any makeup look. And then I've applied my foundation. This makeup look relies a little bit on contouring to pull it off. If you're not comfortable with contouring, no worries, I will walk you through it. Now that I have my foundation on, the first thing I'm gonna do is add some contour, and I am using the Maybelline Erase, and I'm using it in 147.5. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on a damp beauty sponge. Now you'll notice this is a little bit more of a cool color, and I just want to pounce it right up where I would normally contour, staying away from the temple area so that I don't make this area of my face appear any more, should we say, sunken in or aged or downright old. Then we're going to put a little bit right on our cheeks, but not necessarily in the hollow of your cheeks. For this look, you want to put it just on the underside or the downside of your cheekbone. If you don't have a cheekbone that you're comfortable with, just feel where your cheekbone is, and then just on the bottom half of that cheekbone, that's where you'll want to place just a little bit of contour. And then with whatever's remaining on the other side, I will go here. You don't want to have your cheekbone area as dark of a contour as your forehead. And I'm just going to then pounce this in with a damp beauty sponge everywhere, making sure that that goes into the hairline. And whatever you have left on your sponge, go around the jawline. Just by adding that little bit of contour on the jawline, you can already see how cut that looks and how defined the jawline looks. That's not a detail that's specific to this latte look. I just like the way it makes my face appear as though it's tightened and pulled back a little bit, and that my double chin has decided to roll solo again. The next detail is to take a little bit of that contour. I like to use a fluffy, very small fluffy brush and define your nose a little bit. Now I don't do this very often, and it's not essential to this latte or espresso look. I just thought I would do it because I haven't done it in a while. Now, contouring for everyone's nose is a little bit different. My nose is more sunk in on one side and it sort of sticks out more on this side. So to make it appear more symmetrical, and again, you guys, I do not do this every day. I'm just enjoying my makeup session today with you. That's the only reason I'm doing this. So you'll notice I won't bring that contour line too much farther than on the curve of my nose on that side, because I don't want this side to look any more indented. This side, I need to thin it out a little bit, so I'm gonna bring that contour down just a little bit where it sort of bows out so that I can give the appearance of it going in a little bit farther. And then I like to take the tip of my damp beauty sponge and just ever so lightly pounce that into place. I wonder if pounce came from bouncing and patting. Do we think that's a word, pouncing? Is that where it came from? I don't know. So just by doing that, you can see it evens out this side of my nose and makes my nose appear more symmetrical on each side of it. The bridge of my nose up towards the top where my glasses will sit, for example, is very narrow. So I don't want to make that be any more narrow by adding contour. If you find that your nose is more wide through here and you want it to appear more narrow, then just go ahead and bring that contour up farther than I did. Next, we're gonna add a little bit of blush. Now, I have been loving these Pat McGrath cream blushes. I have Peach Lotus, which has nothing to do with latte. Can you even buy a peach latte? I don't know. But I love this so much that I thought there has to be a way to incorporate this into the look so that you can grab whatever blush you like, as long as it's more in the neutral to cool tones. It's really easy. Let me show you how. Just gonna take that cream blush. I'm just gonna dot it right on the high side of my cheeks in a little bit of an upward motion. Then I'm going to take a side of my damp beauty sponge that does not have that contour on it, and I'm going to press that in just so that all of the edges are blurred out and blended so it looks very flawless and seamless. So you can't see where the blush really starts or where the blush really stops. And I don't want to take that all the way back into my hairline. I want to keep it right sort of in the front of my cheek. Now, before adding any bronzer, I want to take my concealer and just go wherever I need a little bit of concealer, which is always the same places. Sometimes it's more in those same places, but for me, it's usually the same places. I know now everybody's just putting it here and right in the corner of their eyes. My concealer needs have not changed just because the trends have changed. I still need concealer all the way under my eyes just to brighten up this area a little bit, as well as brighten up that temple area. This is an important step with any of your makeup looks. Ensure that your concealer comes down to your blush and then those get blended softly together, overlapped a little bit. What that does is helps brighten up this whole area and leaving your foundation then around the edges. So if you don't contour or bronze, you have already applied a lighter color in this area versus the rest of your face, giving you that natural contour. So I like to just make sure that that's blended all the way down. And then whatever's left on my fingers, go through that center of your nose where you didn't put your contour, just to ensure that, again, that's a little lighter than where you contoured and that it matches the rest of your face. Now, because we've used a cream blush, I want to set that ever so lightly. And if you have dry skin, you don't want to skip this step. You just want to go lighter on the powder. If you have oily skin, you absolutely want to use a setting powder on top of your cream blush, or just go for a powder blush altogether. So I'm going to use a medium-sized tapered fluffy brush. Going into this Natasha Denona Glam palette, I'm going to use a little bit of brow bone right on the very tip of my brush, tapping off any excess, and then just going ever so lightly with that shimmery eyeshadow over that blush. It's not only your setting powder for your cream blush, it tones down that peachy color as well as adding a little bit of brown and some highlight. So again, no need to go buy different blush for this look. Just apply the right color of shadow. If you have darker skin tone, a color like this would be really pretty on top of your blush, very light hand. If you have more light skin tones, then something like this with a little shimmer in it in your eyeshadow palette would also do the trick. Now I want to set that under eye concealer. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of powder from the lid of the Givenchy Prism. I have it in number 3, and I want just a little bit of powder so that my concealer doesn't think it's on a water slide. And I'll just take whatever's left and go on my eyelids so that we can set them for the application. And then I just take whatever's left and go right down my nose to set that little bit of concealer that we added through there. Next, I'm gonna grab a larger fluffy brush. This is the Sigma 60, and I'm gonna go into the Dior No. 3 Backstage Bronzer. And I just wanna go a little bit around the face. We just want that warm, cozy look of a latte, because that makes sense on our face. We are so funny as women that like to play with makeup. We can come up with any reason to try a new makeup look. Ah, coffee, let's do that. I love that idea. Now this look is a little softer on the eyebrows, so I'm just gonna use my Anastasia of Beverly Hills. I have it in blonde. Then I'm gonna take a straight edge synthetic brush and just line the brow. And I'll take whatever's left on the brush and just do the tails before dipping back in, because I really want this to get lighter as it goes out. So I want to just use whatever's left. Then I will go back in and get a little bit more product on the tip of that brush, turning my brush so that it is vertical, and then at a slight angle, the same direction as my eyebrow hair. I just want to go through and ever so lightly create a few little hairs. And then once I've done that, using whatever's left on the brush and doing the front. Just flicking the brush ever so lightly. Just gives a nice soft look to the brow, and then I'll go in and just set that with a little bit of brow gel. That's a nice looking brow. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, holding it at that slight angle. And when there's hardly any left on the brush, that's when I'll go back to the center and hold the brush more straight up and down versus at an angle. And just do the front. Just like that. I say that after every little detail to myself. I'm like, just like that, just like that. And sometimes it works, and sometimes I'm trying to convince myself that that's what it's supposed to look like. Oh, I already did that side. Definitely don't want to double up with brow gel on one side, because you could be in a windstorm and your brow will not move. It'll just be like. Next, I'm going to grab just a little bit of Painterly by MAC, that paint pot. Whatever eyeshadow primer or eyelid primer you use is fine. We just want to neutralize that eye area. Give yourself a little bit of a primer. I want to take what's left on my brush of the MAC paint pot and just go underneath my eyes. I've been doing this lately and I really like the look that it gives that under eye area. I feel like it brightens it a little bit. Remember back in the day where the only thing we had to put underneath our lower eyelashes was mascara? And now underneath our eyes is a little bit more, sometimes it's red, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's really dark. Just depends on how much sleep I didn't get and what I ate the day before. Now here's the fun part of this look when it comes to the eyeshadow. This is when you can go through all of your different eyeshadow palettes and look at them through a different lens. You're looking for latte type, foamy, creamy, espresso type colors. And when you look at all your palettes that way, they just look a little different to you. Here's a few examples of palettes that I have that would work great for this look in case you have them too. The Naked 3 palette, Liar, Factory, and Mugshot. Just those three would be perfect for this look. If you don't like that much shimmer, the Naked 2 Basics palette would be a good one. I mean, that screams foamy latte colors, very cool neutral browns, taupey colors. The Rimmel Blush Edition eyeshadow palette, they don't name their colors, but you could use this color, that color, that color, and maybe this creamy color down here would also be really pretty. You could use just these three colors of the Dior Special Edition palette. And the Too Faced Natural Matte also has a lot of colors that would lend themselves to this overall look. I'm gonna start with a light fluffy brush and go into this Rimmel palette, and I'm gonna go in with this more yellow color, just going about halfway from the inner corner along the lash line. I wanna go above the crease, but not all the way to the brow. About halfway. something like that. Next, I want to take a small round brush. This is the Angie Hot and Flashy A504. This is a brush that I think everybody should have because it's perfect for detailed work in an eyeshadow application. Going into the Natasha Denona Glam palette, I want to use this color right here, which is Crease. So across the bottom of the lashes, about halfway, and into the crease about a third of the way. Going back for a little bit more, I want to have a little bit more intense look, so I'm going to go a little darker, and then we'll take it and just flick it out like that. Same thing on this side. If you've got droopy eyelids, taking a darker color and putting it on the tip of your brush and putting it right at the underside, or the underbelly I like to call it, of that droop will help that droop appear higher and pulled back than droopy. It just gives it some shadowing and allows it to look a little more hidden, if you will. Now that the eyeshadow is where I want it in terms of placement, I'm going to go into a light fluffy brush and just softly smoke that out. And with smoking it out, I'm bringing it out this way. I'm bringing it out up towards the top, everywhere except right underneath my brow bone. I want to keep this area underneath my eyebrow still a little bit lighter in color, but the rest of this can just be blended around your eye. Next, I'm going to take a very small, tiny little angled brush, then go back to your palette and look for the darkest brown that's there, that's more on the cooler side. I'm going back to the Natasha Denona Glam palette, and I'm going into this color right here, which is Lash Line, and I'm going to put that color right on the tip, and I want to deposit that color right at that lash line, just about a third of the way in on both sides. Take a blending brush, just blend it away. And our eyes are almost done. Final step for the eyes, go back to the color that you put over your blush. In my case, it was this one right here. I'm just gonna add that to my fingers and put it right in the center of my eye. Whatever's left, you can always go back and touch up that cheek area. Then I will go in and curl my lashes, do my mascara. Now normally for this look, I would use this gel lip liner by Wet n Wild. This is called Lay Down the Moves. It's a very pretty mauve-y color. I think this would go nice with this look. But I want to show you how easy it is to just grab one of your lighter brown eyebrow pencils. Yes, I said eyebrow pencils. Or an eyeliner that's more of those brown tones. And again, if you have darker skin, I wouldn't grab black, but you could grab one of your darker brown eyeliners. I am going to use, House Labs has a good one. This is the Deep Cocoa Matte by House Labs. If you've got Urban Decay's Whiskey, that's also a really pretty one. Either of these would work. I'm gonna grab the House Labs by Lady Gaga. It does have the brush on the end, which I love. And you're just gonna apply it like lip liner. When applying a darker lip liner like this, well, an eyeliner that we're using as a lip liner, I like to do it in short little strokes just so I don't overlap it too many times on top of each other and get a real intense look. That's why you're seeing me feather it. Then take a brush, this one happens to have one at the end, and blend that liner inward towards the center of my mouth. Then you want to grab a much lighter lipstick. In my case, I'm going to use Haze by Anastasia of Beverly Hills, and put that right on top of our Imposter lip liner, just in the center third. Blend it together. So there is our final look. I love this look because not only is it effortless, it also looks glam. Now, if you wanted to shift this from a day look to an evening, or staying in theme, a latte look to an espresso look, you would just choose darker shades of everything that we've done, maybe even throw on some false lashes, and you've easily got a really pretty evening look for summer. This would be really pretty in fall. I can see this look playing well at holiday parties come Christmas time. I hope you did this with me. If not, go gather your eyeshadows and your blushes. Look at everything as though you're really trying to create that latte look. You'll find that creating this look is a lot easier that way. Well, that does it for me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.